probably a hot take, but I think every person getting a service dog needs to be working with a trainer and have seen a fully trained service dog in action.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I thought it would be a really good idea to react to service dog hot takes, unpopular opinions, whatever you guys want to call it, because I am chronically online and I've seen so many of these hot takes. I want to react to them. And I just want to state real quick that all these TikToks all have credit to their original owners. They will still have their watermark on their videos. That way you guys can know whose channel it is from. These are not my TikToks. I'm simply reacting to them. I just want to say that I do not want any hate towards any of these people. They are simply sharing their opinions, and they are called unpopular opinions for a reason. But I'm just going to share my opinion because I like sharing my opinion. If you guys enjoy this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to start a new series of reacting to TikToks because I just recently got TikTok a few months ago, so I'm chronically online. But yeah, let's react to some TikToks. And then I'll probably put the TikTok either on this side or this side of the screen, that way you guys can also watch along.
I'm not sure why so many people in the service dog community feel entitled to sit at the forefront of other people's medical decisions, but you do not get to decide who is or who isn't disabled.
That's literally what I always say, because people are like, well, I have blah, blah, blah condition, and I don't need a service dog. That's completely different. Most of the time, conditions do not affect a person the same way every time, you know? Some people with anxiety have, mild or non-severe anxiety, and some people have extreme anxiety, you know? It just depends. And nobody really knows how much you will benefit from a service dog unless it's yourself or your doctor. That's my opinion anyway.
You don't get to decide who does or doesn't qualify for a service animal. Disability doesn't have to meet your personal criteria to be valid.
Yep.
Someone else's medical needs aren't up for public debate. You can't look at a service dog and decide whether that dog is valid for their handler's condition.
Exactly.
Service dogs are highly individualized. A dog can be trained to prevent an episode before it even starts, to alert when something is beginning so the handler can take action to mitigate symptoms, respond, and keep the handler stable until an episode passes, etc. Just because you don't understand a task doesn't mean it isn't valid.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. There's so many tasks that service dogs can do that for the people that don't need that certain task could just be a trick. Crowd control, I'll put a video up on the screen, but that's when your dog kind of circles you for crowd control. And some people are like, I don't need it, I don't understand why that's even a valid task. But to certain people with certain disabilities, that can make a huge difference to them. Astro's behind the camera.
Even for the exact same diagnosis, might perform completely different tasks. The decision to incorporate a service animal into someone's treatment plan should be discussed with the person's healthcare team, not discussed by random handlers online. And at the end of the day, the decision is theirs alone. When we start assuming we can diagnose people from the other side of the screen, or we think we can decide whose support needs are real enough, we move completely away from education and into gatekeeping. And that helps absolutely no one. I'm not sure why.
I agree with this one a lot. Which this goes literally exactly what I was just saying. Just because someone's service dog does one certain thing and you don't like it or don't see the point in it, does not mean that what their service dog is doing is wrong or not valid or anything like that. Yeah. Okay. This is going to upset a lot of people, so let's talk about it. So it pretty much just says anxiety doesn't automatically qualify you for a service dog. Anxiety disorders range in severity, and unless it's debilitating, you do not need a service dog. Say what I said, which is 100% right, you know? Just because you do have anxiety does not automatically mean you need a service dog. It says disorders range in severity, and unless it's debilitating, because the whole point of service dogs are to help mitigate a handler's disability. And just because you have a diagnosis and stuff doesn't make it a disability automatically. Do some people with anxiety need service dogs? Yes. And they will benefit from them, but not everybody. Yes. Okay, so while a service dog being like a tight, fancy heel looks more professional and sometimes more practical, it is not the law. So yeah, this isn't really like an unpopular opinion, it's more of a fun fact. But yeah, they actually do not need to be in a heel, actually. They can be in front of you, behind you, anywhere, low-key. The law, the ADA never says where they have to walk next to. Like, they just have to be under control and stuff like that, but they never said they have to be in like a tight heel. It's an individual preference. Yep.
This is probably a hot take, but I think every person getting a service dog needs to be working with a trainer and have seen a fully trained service dog in action.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves is like, whoever's getting a service dog needs to get it from a trainer, needs help from a trainer. I don't agree with that. I don't. I started training Astro when I was 15, which it was not easy. I did not know 100% what I was doing, but there are tons of people, not even just young service dog handlers, but service dog handlers in general, that do not have the money to get a service dog from a professional trainer. It's not practical. It's not. Which is why the ADA was like, hey, you can own or train your service dog. It just has to be up to a certain standard. That way, they can make service dogs more accessible to disabled people. Service dogs are amazing, and I am really happy that they do not legally need a trainer. But I feel like if you are like under a certain age or something, you should have some type of professional help, but that's not the law. You can do owner training without a professional or anything like that, you know?
How to drive a car if you had no one to teach you and had never ridden in a car or seen one outside of videos.
Okay, that part is fair. Because service dogs may seem one way on videos, but they are completely different in person. So that part is fair.
What I imagine it's like for new service dog handlers whose only frame of reference for what's normal and acceptable public behavior from both service dog and handler comes from online videos.
Which is
Recently,
fair.
I was working with a first-time owner trainer and their teenage service dog in training. Under the eyes of the law, this is very much a task trained under control service dog, but this client came to me wanting to polish their public access and tasking skills. We got into a discussion about where to draw the line of fully trained if it wasn't the legal definition. Over the course of this discussion, I realized my client had never seen a fully trained service dog in action, so I brought in my seasoned service dog to demonstrate the exact same public access skills we were working on, like walking through a storage, stopping to browse shelves, and demonstrate polished task work. My client later said watching me work my service dog helped them develop their mental picture of what a fully trained service dog looks like.
It helped develop it, yes, but I don't understand why you would need a professional trainer. Like, I guess that way you could see, like, a fully trained service dog in action. But, like, not every service dog trainer has a fully trained service dog just on hand, you know? Like, you can see tons of, like, fully trained service dogs in action over the internet.
Beyond just trained and under control, it's up to the individual to decide what they consider fully trained.
She literally just said it's literally up to the individual to see what they consider fully trained. So I don't understand.
Of course, this definition will differ from person to person, but having a mental goalpost in mind is critical.
Oh, okay, that's why.
I was fortunate to have a friend with an incredibly well-trained service dog when I was new on my journey, and she let me shadow her while she went about her day. It's been close to 15 years, and that dog is long gone, but in my mind...
This is my friend. I wanted to include her. Okay, I agree. Your service dog is going into non-pet friendly places. It should be held to a high clean standard, you know? Nobody wants to be around a dirty dog. And it's just like, especially when they go into like restaurants and grocery stores and stuff, they should be clean, you know? Shouldn't be in public if it's gross and stuff, which makes sense. And they should be groomed properly. That way if somebody's eating in a restaurant, they don't get a little piece of dog fur on top as a little topping, you know? Because nobody wants that. Moving on. Okay, I've actually seen a lot of people say this, and they're like, well, the Target employee didn't stop me, so clearly what I'm doing isn't bad. I'm like, no, it's still against the law. Just because they didn't like kick you out or say anything does not mean what you're doing is okay, especially with Walmart. Walmart does not enforce pet policies. And they typically do not enforce these because they are scared of getting sued. Most businesses do not know their rights as a business. And they're just like, okay, well, I'm going to let this dog in here just in case if it is a service dog, I won't get sued, you know? But, like, in reality, like, if that dog's acting up, out of control or anything, you can kick them out and you will not get in trouble. Oh. Okay, the fact that this is an unpopular opinion is a little sad, but your service dog should not be having accidents in the store. Kind of, okay? So, like, dogs are still dogs. Sometimes they have an upset stomach. Stuff happens, you know? But they should be potty trained and not be having regular accidents, you know? But, like, sometimes stuff does happen, so that's fair. Like, sometimes they have accidents and stuff like that, because, like, stuff happens, so it's okay.
Hot take in the service dog community. I don't care if my dog's taking up space if the area is unoccupied. Some people would be really upset right now that I'm letting my dog lay so spread out, taking up the walkway between these two tables, not having him in a tuck, but this is what works best for us.
Agreed. So, service dogs do not legally have to be tucked out of the way or anything. I mean, it kind of is public courtesy to have your dog, like, tucked out of the way as much as you can. And sometimes it's just handler preference, but your service dog does not need to be tucked. Like with my service dog, Astro, I do not tuck him out of the way all the time. It's a lot of work too. And if he's not like in the way, I typically don't tuck him out of the way. Yes, exactly. So, Astro is my 2-year-old service dog in training, and people are like, wait, why is he still in training? He's really making so much noise right now. Astro is really smart, and he's been task trained since he was a year old, and he's 2. But he's not fully trained because I do not believe that he can fully, confidently work in every single environment yet, and that's okay. There's no set time for a service dog to have to be fully trained by, and I'm going to take my time, and that's totally okay. Your service dog isn't fully trained by 2.
Your dog does not belong on the merchandise at a store. It's not a training facility or a jungle gym. Those are products, and you're in a business that has graciously allowed pets inside the building.
This is especially a big thing in like Lowe's and stuff like that, where there's like hard like wood and stuff, and people just like let their dogs crawl all over the wood and stuff, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I mean, I understand why people do this, and I think it's fine. Like, I believe it's fine if it's like the carts and stuff that you push hardwood on, but I don't understand why we're letting dogs run across like hardwood and stuff, because like people still buy those products. And this is why so many places are no longer pet friendly, because people would like take advantage of it.
Having the dogs on carts is one thing, but having them on things for sale is another. I'm so tired of seeing good trainers do this. Y'all are good at your jobs. You do not need to be practicing place on a fire pit or the beams that will make someone's home. People ultimately do not want scratched goods. And I know a lot of you do this for confidence building, but go to a park. You can do the same.
Yeah, there's so many other ways to build confidence.
Or at picnic tables, and ultimately that will be 1,000 times less rude. Because it's the audacity to utilize things that are not yours in a space you are lucky to be allowed in. And if you want to keep being allowed in, we have to respect the spaces we have.
Exactly.
Our dogs' worlds are getting smaller every day. The amount of public and privately owned spaces they are allowed in is getting smaller and smaller because of bad actors. Try not to be one of them, please.
Made up service dog rules. I don't follow. My dog works off leash. When I am passing out a lot, due to her tasks, it's safer this way. I also don't make her focus on me 24/7 while walking, due to one of her primary tasks, being guide work. I allow her to take up space when it's safe for her and the public, but she can also tuck when needed. Lastly, I allow her to walk ahead of me. We have a command for this. Made up service.
Okay, my unpopular opinion is that I don't understand why it's such a big deal if your dog's off leash. Like, the law only says if your disability or your dog's tasks like interfere with the leash, they can be off leash, you know? So I don't understand why people are like gatekeeping it. Like, I don't see the big deal if your dog's like well trained and can stay in a heel and stuff like that. I don't see why it's such a big deal if they're off leash. Like, I get that some people like take advantage of the rule, but like, you don't really get to decide who gets to have their dog off leash and who doesn't, you know?
Service dog rules I don't follow. My dog works off leash. When I am passing out a lot, due to her tasks, it's safer this way. I also don't make her focus.
Oh yeah, your service dog also doesn't really have to focus on you. Astro focuses on me because that's just what he likes doing. I don't make him. That's just what he likes doing. I don't really see why service dogs have to stare at their handlers 24/7, unless it's for certain tasks, you know. Like, Astro has to be looking at me when he's like laying down or sitting for certain tasks, but not when we're walking necessarily.
24/7s while walking. Due to one of her
And then I already talked about the
taking up space.
taking up space one.
Okay, hot take. If your kid says they want a service dog, that doesn't mean you grab a vest off of Amazon and throw your untrained mutt in a Walmart cart. I literally saw this other day a girl pushing her dog in a cart, vest on, barking its head off. Like, girl, what is the task here? Alerting to the fucking chicken in the aisle? Here's why it's a problem, though. When fake teams act like that, people start assuming all service dogs are fake. Then when I walk in with my dog, suddenly the employees are side-eyeing me, asking me extra questions, and doubting if my service dog's legit.
Exactly. Like, I get, like, having a service dog in training, but they should still have certain behaviors before they start going into non-pet friendly places. I've seen a lot of people that literally have a service dog that was just born, and they're taking it already into non-pet friendly stores. It's kind of just like, what are we doing, guys? Like, your service dog should at least have like a good, decent heel and have at least one task before they start going into non-pet friendly places. And of course, be potty trained, not aggressive, reactive, anything like that, right? But I've seen a lot of people that are just like throwing their dog into public access way too early. Like, just slow down, guys. There's like a lot of good training you can do in pet friendly stores. But yeah, your service dog should not be acting like that in non-pet friendly places.
And worse, if that untrained dog lunges at mine when he's...
Oh yeah, and if you're bringing your legitimate service dog in training, like just newly training, into a store like that, people are gonna be like, oh, that's how service dogs in training act. Like, I don't want to deal with that in my store, and that's gonna give legitimate, highly trained service dog teams more access issues than we already deal with.
It could literally mess with my health and mess with my dog's confidence. So yeah, service dogs are not accessories, they will never be, and they are not trends. Stop making them that. If your kid wants one, start with obedience classes and actually start working with their doctor. It's not cosplay. We're out here trying to live. Okay.
Like, with my mom, we pretty much just brought a service dog up and stuff like that. And I did tons of research and was looking at like ways to train my service dog and everything like that. And Astro did not go into non-pet friendly stores till he had a good heel down, was task trained, stuff like that. And it's kind of crazy that people just like think service dogs are trends and stuff. It's a little crazy. I love the made up service dog rules gonna abide by. Astro loves looking around when he's working. Not like crazy, obviously, but he does observe his environment quite a bit. Yeah, he's not really in a focused heel all the time. Yeah, Astro's not really fully geared up all the time anyway. Like, he's typically wearing a vest, or if it's like super hot out, he typically just wears it. But I don't really fully gear him up. It's a lot of work, Loki. Yeah. Must be certified or program trained, exactly. Like, no. My service dog's completely owner trained. And like, it's amazing if you guys can go through a trainer and stuff. Like, that's amazing. If I could, I would. But like, one, freaking service dog trainers are really expensive. Two, not every service dog trainer can train the tasks to the certain extent that I need for my disability. And three, not all of them are ethical, which sounds so bad, but there's so many non-ethical service dog trainers out there. It's bad. I don't understand how that task, like, is invalid. People make up such weird rules. It's so weird. Yeah, with my service dog, Astro, I'm probably not going to completely fade out treats. I'm going to fade them out a little bit because I still give him, like, I use his kibble, so I pretty much, like, act like I'm always giving him kibble, bro. I give him, like, so much dog food. I reward him too often. I need to fix that. Service dog, you're training for your individual needs. Do what works for you. Exactly. Okay. I get what they're saying here, but I also don't like the people that, like, try to act like they get to decide what's best for somebody else. That's one of my pet peeves, because, like, you don't really know, like, that person from the internet personally. You're not their medical team or anything, so you don't really get to decide who gets to be off leash or not. But I do get what they're saying, because there are tons of ways to not have to be off leash, like traffic leashes, stuff like that. But that doesn't mean most people that have service dogs off leash aren't valid. Bro, I was literally at the mall earlier today, and a full-on adult was just barking at Astro, and I'm like, how old are you? Too old to be barking at him, that's for sure. But, like, I feel like it's typically the kids that act better around service dog than adults do. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I agree. Yes, I agree. If you cannot, like, fulfill your service dog, you should probably get a different treatment option. And I'm just saying that because service dogs are dogs first. You need to fulfill them if you want them to be able to, like, work properly and everything like that and be happy working. Moving on. This is true because a service, like a task, is defined as something that your service dog is trained to do to help mitigate the handler's disability. So if the tasks don't directly relate to your disability, they are technically a trick. Yes, oh my goodness. Yeah, you should be, this is my opinion, not everybody, obviously it's not the law, but I do believe you should be holding your service dog to a higher standard than the ADA, because the ADA is very, like, vague and stuff about service dog laws, and I believe, like, if a dog is, like, reactive and stuff, they're not going to be able to, like, properly be comfortable enough to task for you to the extent that you need. And if it's not confident and stuff, it's also going to interfere with the work. What is it, guys? Yeah, exactly. You got to do what works best for you as a team and do whatever you feel is right. Exactly. Don't let anybody else decide what is best for you and your dog, you know? That was one of my biggest problems. That was one of my biggest problems when I first started, like, YouTube and stuff, is that, like, I let everybody else's opinions and stuff like that interfere with what I was doing with my dog, and that was not good. But yeah, do whatever works best for your dog. Like, everybody has different opinions. It's gonna happen. Nobody's, like, opinions are exactly the same, you know? Yes, I agree. And this is because you are going to see tons, not really tons, but you're going to see other dogs out in public, and there are definitely going to be other service dogs. You do not want your service dog in training, even if it's in training, to interfere with those working service dogs. But if your service dog in training is acting up in, like, a pet-friendly place, that's different, it's fine. But, like, yeah, you do not want your service dog to, like, distract a legitimate service dog. So yeah, that one's fair. Oh my goodness, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Yeah, you definitely should not be asking service dog handlers if you're eligible to get a service dog or not. And like, I know so many of my friends do the exact same thing, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves. But that's just because, like, a random person on the internet that has a service dog is not your doctor. They do not know you personally or anything like that. So it's kind of not right for someone to be like, yeah, you should get a service dog for this or not. What I like to do is be like, talk to your doctor about it. Because that is truly the best answer. Like, honestly. And if you're unsure if a service dog will benefit you, just talk to your health provider. I know not every health provider will agree with it, but it's always a good idea to get, like, an opinion and get second opinions and stuff like that. Like, I brought up a service dog to my doctor, and he agreed and all that stuff. But I know not every doctor is like mine, you know? But, yeah. You should definitely not be asking service dog handlers, because they're not doctors. They're just simply disabled people that have a service dog. Okay. The whole reason why people, like, call service dog medical equipment is because they do help mitigate disability, but I also understand why people are like, that's a little weird, because it is a living animal, you know? So yeah, I don't really call my service dog like medical equipment unless I'm like talking about like people distracting him and stuff, and I'm like, this is literally my medical equipment, like, don't distract him. But yeah, I definitely think it's a little weird to call them medical equipment. I understand why people do, but I think it's a little weird because they are breathing animals and they're like alive, you know? Yeah, exactly. I understand the sentiment. Yeah, it just gives me the ick, which is fair. Disability aids, but also calling them disability aids is like the same thing as calling them a cane and stuff like that. Like, I understand, but yeah, I mean, I get it, but also, like, calling them disability aids is pretty much the same thing as calling them medical equipment. Yeah, which is fair. Yeah, which is fair. I get what they're saying. Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, I think there should be a service dog registry.
Oh no.
And like paperwork.
No.
The dog is a service dog. Or at the very least, like, make them pass a public access test.
Okay. Theoretically, a service dog registration would be amazing, okay? I understand why so many people think it'll be a good idea, but it's not going to be a good idea. Here's why, okay? So, right now in the United States, this is different per country, right? In the United States, businesses can only ask, is a service dog and what task has it been trained to perform? They cannot ask for any type of certification or anything like that. It's actually illegal to ask. And the reason why they do that is because you can obviously own or train a service dog, right? And it protects people with disabilities from getting discriminated against, further disability, stuff like that. Pretty much the whole system is just in place to help disabled people have more privacy, service dogs and like disability aids to be more accessible. Now, people are like, oh my goodness, Astro. People are like, okay, well, like, if you get like a service dog registry, no more fake service dogs. No. People already do fake service dog like certificates, registries, everything like that. Simply, that's not gonna stop if you guys like implement a real service dog ID. It's not. Because people are gonna see that service dog ID and be like, oh, okay, it looks exactly like this, and they're gonna fake that service dog ID. And that'll just simply make service dogs less accessible. But I do understand where people come from when they do say this. I really do. Like, theoretically, it is an amazing idea theoretically, but like in reality, not a good idea. Because that'll just, no, the idea as a whole is just not good. Like, an ID is not going to stop people from faking service dogs. They already do it, you know? That's not going to stop them. and we're just going to implement the ID, and then it's just going to make service dogs less accessible, and it's just going to make everything a huge, like, problem and a whole lot harder on service dog handlers. Also, I forgot to say this in the video, but I would like to add that, like, if businesses actually asked the 2 questions they were allowed to ask and then kicked out dogs that were misbehaving and stuff, we would not have this many fake service dogs in stores all the time. Yes, any breed can be a service dog, but not every dog can be a service dog. That's my favorite saying. I agree. I feel like if service dogs, like, when they were younger, like young, were reactive, like once reactive previously but are neutral and stuff like that now, they can be a service dog. Because most, especially through the adolescence phase, service dogs go through some type of reactivity, whether it's like excitement reactivity, fear reactivity, all that stuff. It's really common, no matter if you get a well-bred dog or not, because that's just how adolescence rolls, you know? Like, Astro was really fear reactive of dogs when he was younger. He would always bark at them and stuff. And now, he's totally fine working on other dogs. So, yeah, I agree on that one. But I feel like if it's, like, to a certain point, no. But, yeah, I feel like it's, like, half and half, you know? Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. But, like, I don't like people who gatekeep stuff. It irks my soul. We're all just freaking service dog handlers trying to, like, live our best lives. We do not need made up service dog rules making our lives harder. Like, I get what people are saying when they do this, but, like, I mean, I guess I've had to jerk my service dog away from aggressive service dog strollers, people not paying attention, etc. And if she was off leash, she could have gotten hurt. But, like, that's why you can have, like, a traffic leash dangling from their collar, or, like, a handle collar, stuff like that. Ripley heels as if she is off leash. Her on the OTS. I don't know what that even means. Is there to respect leash laws for safety. Okay. Yeah. This makes people mad, actually, but I personally don't do it because I'm kind of just like, eh. I share my food with my dog at home, not in public, because I feel like it looks kind of unprofessional, but I low-key don't really see the problem with it. Like, my service dog doesn't beg. Like, he begs at home, which is fair game, but he doesn't beg out in public. But I typically just don't really give him table food out in public because I do not want to start begging habits. Yeah, this isn't really a service dog hot take, more of a hot take in general. But working breeds do not need hours and hours of exercise. They really don't. Like, it's really actually pretty easy to tire them out. So the general rule, tire them out physically and mentally. Typically, if you tire them out mentally, that is like the easiest. And then tire them out physically. Tiring them out mentally is like a lot more tiring. Like, it's easier to tire them out mentally than it is physically. But yeah, people think that you have to like run your working dog breed for like 5 hours outside, play fetch with them, do a lick mat, do all this stuff to tire them out, and that's not the case. Yes, you should not have to rely on your service dog 24/7. My opinion. But I just say this because, like, service dogs are dogs. They get sick, have bad days. Sometimes you just gotta leave your service dog home for certain reasons. and if some places just don't like allow dogs, because there are some places that legally do not allow dogs, like certain religious places, and certain places legally are allowed to deny a service dog. Very few, but you should not have to rely on your service dog 24/7. Especially because there's tons of places in the public that are not safe for service dogs. Like, service dogs are there to help mitigate disability, but you shouldn't really rely on them. Well, yeah, you should rely on them. I worded that wrong. You should rely on them, but you should also be able to work without them. That's what I meant to say.
I'm not hating, I'm just telling you.
Yeah. I mean, they can have good genetics, but most of the time, they can, but like, it's pretty rare. Because most of the time, these are just like backyard bred dogs that don't have a home, so they get put in the shelter. But yeah, I mean, they can have good genetics sometimes.
Unpopular dog community opinions. Service dog handlers need to have the coping skills to function without their service dog.
Yep.
Dogs get sick, need days off, and sometimes need to suddenly retire. We have to be able to let them. Service dogs may be a necessity to live a full life, but they are also a great privilege that relies on the life of another being.
True.
Thus, we have a responsibility to our dogs to have alternate skills in place to allow our dogs to take space and time from work if they need it.
Exactly. So like with me, I have a smartwatch, but I would rather a cardiac alert service dog because they can catch on to stuff quicker and help like lower my heart rate and help with medical episodes and stuff, but that's not really like a necessity. Like, I don't need a service dog. He just makes my life a whole lot easier, which is the whole point of service dogs. Okay, this is gonna make like a lot of people upset, but I agree with that. Like, Astro, I mean, like, he likes people, but not when he's working. He will tolerate people when he's working, but he does not like to be pet when he's working or anything. He just wants to be left alone, that way he can work and stuff in peace. He does not like being messed with when he's working. Yeah, I agree with that one. That's fair. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with working your service dog with tools, but they definitely shouldn't really be considered fully trained if they have to rely on them. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to like have your service dog wear them, but if they cannot work effectively without tools on, you gotta probably take a step back in training. Yeah, fair enough. I don't really care what you put on your dog, Loki. It's not my problem, not my dog. But I can see why it's disrespectful, profanity and stuff. That's fair. Okay. I care a lot if it's a fake service dog in a store that they do not belong in. Because they're just breaking the law. Like, a lot of people are like, well, if they're well trained, I don't see a problem with it. But, like, I see a problem with it. They're literally breaking the law. So, yeah, I'm not okay with it. And not even to mention that most fake service dogs are reactive and stuff and can literally go after my dog. So, like, it irks me when I see fake service dogs out in public. Yeah, nobody really needs a service dog. They're just there to help make your life easier. But you can definitely live without a service dog. They're just literally there to make your life a whole lot easier. All the people in the comments are so mad. No one needs an emotional support animal. Some people absolutely need a service animal. I mean, like, I get why people think that. But, like, you have to kind of be able to function without a service dog. Just because, like videos that were saying prior, service dogs can wash out, be sick, and stuff like that, you know? I apologize for all the goofy faces I'm making. But, I want to read this again. I mean, I get where they're coming from with this. If you take your service dog in with no gear, you're asking for access issues. But, like, if your dog's well behaved and stuff, you're typically, you're not going to have access issues. Typically. You can't expect people to just know they're a working dog, and if they didn't ask, they wouldn't be doing their job right. I guess. Yeah. I mean, businesses don't always have to ask, but I don't really think that they're, like, asking for access issues. Like, some people just prefer to work their service dog invested, but I do think you should have some type of, like, identification. Not IDs, guys. Like, identification meaning, like, a collar or a leash that says service dog or something like that. But I guess, I got through them all. So that is it for today's video. If I upset you guys with my opinions, feel free to comment that down below. And I shall explain my opinions further. But, everybody has their own opinions. You're completely valid to have your own opinions. Like, I just like reacting to hot take videos because why not, you know? But I am planning on reacting to more TikToks, so stay tuned for that. This is going to be a new series I'm planning on doing. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want me to do a part 2 of reacting to service dog hot takes, let me know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If my opinions upset you, I'm sorry. But I like stating my opinions. I like letting people know where I stand with stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, because I don't really state my opinions a whole ton, but yeah, I think reacting to TikToks was a lot of fun. Hopefully, I'm going to make more videos like this soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys watched this far, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys all.